Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. Hashtag Dugong Chino, Pusong Pinoy is brought to you by Federation of Filipino Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities, BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific, AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc., Jimmy C.
One of the most difficult things for us to do is to kind of learn on the job, operating as doctors, at the same time running it and managing it as a business.
Everything that he has right now is really the effect of all his hard work, his passion, his discipline.
So my vision for Aivee Clinic was always to be the best in what we do, and that's how I envision Aivee to be.
he never has changed all throughout the journey that we had. He's remained the same person that I know, and he continues to inspire me and everybody around him.
My name is Teo Zishen. My Chinese name is Zhang Zhishen, and I'm the doctor of aesthetic medicine. Growing up in Singapore during the late 70s and early 80s was very, very interesting. I mean, I was a typical Singaporean boy. Go to school, went swimming, had a lot of had a few dogs at home, and it was just a really fun time during the 80s because Singapore was booming at the time. So for me, when I was growing up, it was a lot of studying, a lot of exams, but it was just very, very peaceful and calm. It was a fun time. We are predominantly Chinese in Singapore. The Chinese culture is not very traditional. I think if I compare the Chinese here in the Philippines and the Chinese in Singapore, I would say that the Chinese in the Philippines is a little bit more traditional than the Singaporean Chinese. Of course, we keep our traditions, our Chinese New Year and all these other Chinese festivals. But when I was growing up and when I went to the military service, a really, really bad bout of acne. So it was funny because in the army, they gave me this nickname. They called me pizza face because my face was just full of acne all over. Something that I was always very conscious about. Good skin was something that I've always yearned for and looked forward to. So that I think was the turning point when I became a doctor, and I was going like, if I could do something, right, to help people get past this and get good skin, I think that will be something that I will be very interested with. My dad is a doctor as well. He is a family physician. So growing up, I think that was always been what I was supposed to be doing. That's what medicine was for me. Taking care of patients, diabetes, internal medicine. When I graduated from med school, actually that was kind of the path that I was taking. I was working with my dad in the clinic, seeing patients day in and day out. It was only during that time where I started to explore a little bit into dermatology and aesthetic medicine. And of course, my dad being very traditional, he really frowned upon it. I mean, he said, this is not really medicine. But he didn't really stop me too much. He let me pursue it. So I did a little bit of internal medicine and dermatology, a little bit on the side as well. And that's when I started to get really fascinated with this whole field of medicine, which is dermatology, aesthetic medicine, treating the skin, making people look young, making them look good. The field at that time was really growing, and it was a very, very interesting field of medicine. My dad, he didn't really like it, but he couldn't do anything because that time I was veering towards that. And recently he just told me, he said, Z, I think you made the right choice. Aesthetic medicine is a fusion of art and science. So for me, art is important because, when I see art, it inspires me. It gives me creativity. Doing aesthetic dermatology, you need to have an eye for beauty. You need to have an eye for proportions, for symmetry, for design. And I think it goes very well together with the work that we are doing. One of my interests as well. Right now, I have a big interest in my dogs. I'm a huge dog lover. I like to collect exotic breeds, like the giant poodles, the Aussie Shepherd dogs. I grew up having dogs in my house. So right now I have more than 100 of them. And other interests, boxing, swimming, tennis. These are some of the things that I do at my free time.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aivee Aguilar-Teo. I'm a dermatologist and the owner of the Aivee Group. So me and Z met in 2002 in Singapore. So I just finished my residency training in dermatology, and I got a scholarship training in Singapore for cosmetic dermatology. And so I was sent to Singapore. That was around August of 2002.
I still remember very vividly, it was her first day in the National Skin Center. I think her first time in Singapore as well. I was there in the National Skin Center for almost 3 weeks then. I remembered when I saw her, I asked myself, oh, who's there? You know, I mean, she looks really good. So I actually kind of plotted my way to kind of get to know her. It's a big place in the skin center. So I found out which department she was in and which area that she was in, and I got to know some of the nurses that were working in the skin center because I was there 3 weeks before. So they were all my friends. So I asked the nurses for the schedule of Aivee, and every single day I will be going to where she was going.
I didn't think much of it until he actually became very persistent. And from there, I got to know him.
So I only had 4 weeks there. 3 weeks, she wasn't there yet. On my last week, she came. I had 7 days to get her number. All right. So every single day, I would try. Only on the 7th day before I left, I managed to get her number. So we kept in touch for a little while. Even when I was out of Skin Center, I would go back and visit her during that time.
And from there, we started our long-distance relationship for 3 years before we got married in 2005. And now we have 3 kids, and we're together for 18 years already.
I only really moved to the Philippines. I've never been to the Philippines before until I came here to ask for Aivee's hand in marriage. That was really my first time coming to the Philippines. When I got married with Aivee, I was flying back and forth Singapore to Manila every week. This carried on until our first boy, 2007, when Kenzie was born. I was still doing once a week or sometimes once every 2 weeks, right? Because it was getting a little bit tiring. When Kenzo was born in 2011, I started to go back and forth every 2 to 4 weeks. And when Kelly was born in 2012 with 3 kids, I finally said, you know, this is really too tiring for me. And my kids need me to be stable in one place. So I made the decision to put them in school here in Manila. And with that decision, I started to spend much more time here and put my base here in Philippines.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #Dugong Chino, Pusong Pinoy is brought to you by Federation of Filipino Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific. AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc. Jimmy C. Chua Beng Teng. Real Estate Hub. Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation. Japan Parts Trading Center. Nung Family. Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner. Global Diesel and GU Engineering. Enrique Chua. Sherwin Choi. Albert Ko. Evergreen Cereals. Western Guarantee Insurance. Imperial de Jesus. Jersey Haven. PG Flex Linoleum and Maruyama Tarpaulin. Aningo. Veco Paper. SM Supermalls. Philippine Jinjiang General Association Incorporated. Thomas Kua. Leia Go.
健康，我更不轻易妥协，做自己。
Oishi Bread Pan. Pinasreses ang baong bread slices na may crunch. Oh, wow!
In all my years, I've learned that you can never give too much of your time for the things and people that you love. With so much that I do, I need to remember to prioritize my physical and, of course, oral health. As we age, our gum potentially recedes. As it recedes, it causes swollen or bleeding gums. And worse, tooth sensitivity or pangingilo. I use Gumtech because it has ingredients like allantoin and vitamin A that helps prevent bleeding gums. It also helps reduce plaque buildup that causes gums to recede further. Gumamit ng Gumtech Sensitive Toothpaste na may dynamic desensitizing system para tumulong umiwas sa pangingilo. Happy tayo with Gumtech. Pair your toothpaste with Gumtech mouthwash.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
Well, it's totally intertwined. Me and Aivee were partners, both in life as well as in business. In business, in running up the whole group and Aivee clinics and all the other things, we have a very complementary role. I'm the CEO of the group, so I set the vision, where we're going to go, how we're going to expand, the direction that we're going to take. Aivee, she's the COO, which she does the operational nitty-gritties of everything. So she's very, very meticulous, very obsessive, compulsive with all the small details. So that's how we kind of complement one another. I set the tone, and then she executes it.
Me and Z are very much alike in terms of we're very focused. We share the same values, we share the same principles. So we actually really complement each other, and we always find a middle ground where we both agree. And I think that's the best decision that we make in running our business. I think Z as a doctor is very unique because Z is not only a doctor, but he's really a businessman at heart. As a doctor, he's very, very passionate about his craft, has a good eye for detail. He's very focused, and he has very good rapport with his patients. But as an entrepreneur, I think he's very astute. He's a visionary, and he's really very focused, and he's a go-getter.
The Aivee Clinic, when we first set up, it was actually called Aivee Aguilar-Teo Skin and Laser Clinic. So that was her first clinic name. When I started to come here into the Philippines to spend a little bit more time, what I did was that I looked at the name of the whole clinic, and I said it's too long. People don't really remember, wouldn't really remember what that is. So I told Aivee, I said, look, I'm going to kind of shorten it a little bit. I love her name because her name is so unique. So I dropped everything and I named it the Aivee Clinic for her.
I think our vision for the Aivee Clinic is to make sure we have the most beautiful clinic with latest state-of-the-art technology and to have standards at par with the international clinics. We want to make sure that our patients don't have to go overseas to avail of the services, but they can actually have it here in the Philippines through the Aivee clinics.
The progression of my brands was really just a natural progression of the interest that I had and the ability to kind of see whether there's a need for a certain category or certain segments of the business that can be expanded and kind of scaled up. The Aivee Group is a fusion of Singaporean, Chinese, and Filipino values. So when I first came in and ran the business, I brought in a lot of what I was used to in Singapore. In Singapore, when we do things, we're very practical, we're very straightforward, we are very efficient, but we are very frank and extremely result-oriented. Well, when I came here, I realized that, I cannot impose all of this at 100% because the Filipino culture is slightly a little bit more laid back. I had to kind of balance everything out a little bit. So I said, okay, look, if we are going to run and make this place successful, we have to kind of fuse both. So I told everyone, look, we can have fun, but at the same time, we must have results. We have to have output, right? We have to have productivity. Those were the things that I was inculcating into the company. And I think we've managed to kind of infuse and mash the two of them together to come up with a nice hybrid. I would say one of the biggest challenges when we came into the industry about 15 years ago was that we were the new kid on the block. There were, of course, much more established brands. There were household names already in the country. So for us to be able to come in to break into that was very challenging because, first of all, we were very young. So we had to gain the trust of the patients and get the brand to be trusted by people. But as the business went on, the other challenge that me and Aivee have faced is to manage the clinic, manage the business.
Well, first and foremost, me and Z are doctors by profession. So we're really not business people. And so I think the biggest challenge is really learning on the job, learning how to run our business, starting from just a clinic to making it like a 5-clinic and running the whole Aivee Group is really a challenge for us. As a husband, Z is a very modern husband. He's very committed. He's very dedicated. He's very loving. But at the same time, he's very, very supportive. As a father, Z is very, very hands-on. He's actually very strict and he's a disciplinarian. But at the same time, he's very cool. He actually is very funny. He has a good sense of humor and he actually is like a friend to my kids. He's also very, very hands-on in terms of the kids' education. He's very particular about the kids' extracurricular activities, their sports. And as a father, he's very particular about raising our kids in a very Christian environment.
And them being in international school, for them, it's very normal for them to identify in different nationalities. So they said that they see themselves as Singaporeans, but at the same time, they are very much Filipino in the way that they are.
I think raising my kids as Chinese Filipino is actually an advantage because we're able to get the best values and the best training from both sides.
I think for us Chinese, hard work is of paramount importance. Filial piety to your parents, respect for elders, as well as the ability to persevere, right, in spite of challenges, to be able to go through obstacles, right, with grit and determination. I think these are some of the values that I want to, that I have brought down to my kids.
And on the other side naman, the Pinoy side, the Pinoy traits, the traits of pakikisama, maging kumbaba, being compassionate, being respectful to the elders. I think my kids are so well-rounded simply because we're able to infuse both values and make sure that they're able to understand that and assimilate that in their everyday lives.
I try my best to maintain the Chinese culture. When Aivee and I got married, we had an agreement. For Chinese New Year, we have to be back home in Singapore, right? And then for Christmas, we have to be here in the Philippines. So that was our agreement right from the start. So every year, without fail, during Chinese New Year, we will whisk the whole family back home. And there we will, change to our cheongsam, our red clothes, new clothes. We would give ang paos. We visit our relatives. Relatives would visit us. We'll have our reunion dinner. And then we'll give oranges to my parents on the first day of Chinese New Year. So these are some of the practices that I make sure that at least they still maintain and is still inside their heads when they're growing up. And of course, here in the Philippines, Christmas is a month-long celebration where again you spend time with family, you celebrate these occasions. So for them, they understand that both traditions are important, and I think from birth, they have already gotten used to it. So I think we have kind of successfully merged the two of them, two practices together.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #Dugong Chino, Pusong Pinoy is brought to you by Federation of Filipino Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific. AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc. Jimmy C. Chua Beng Teng. Real Estate Hub. Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation. Japan Parts Trading Center. Nung Family. Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner. Global Diesel and GU Engineering. Enrique Chua. Sherwin Choi. Albert Ko. Evergreen Cereals. Western Guarantee Insurance. Imperial de Jesus. Philflex Wires and Cables. Conchita Go. Verleo Catering. Philippine Valve Manufacturing Corporation and Nation Manufacturing and Industrial Products Corporation. Jersey Haven. SM Supermalls. Philippine Jinjiang General Association Incorporated. Leia Go.
健康，我更不轻易妥协，做自己。
Ano ginagawa mo?
Mark, yun yung sinasabi ko sa'yo, bilihan ko ng mga magagandang duster.
May something. Uwishi crispy patata.
Spritz Hard Seltzer? Is it sparkling water?
No.
Is it soda? Beer? Hard? No!
It's a spiked sparkling sensation.
Low sugar, low calories, low ABV.
Refreshingly. Spritz!
Una sa lahat, salamat sa'yo. Kasama ka sa lahat ng una sa buhay ko. Unang kiss namin, ikaw ang saksi. Unang gitara ko, unang sweldo, T-Ice para sa tropa. Una sa lahat, ice ang sarap.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
Well, me and C always feel that there's still so much to grow. We still have so many plans. We still have so much dreams for the Aivee Group. Short-term plans, we're opening 3 or 4 clinics in the next quarter up to early next year. We're also expanding Aivee Skin to provide more skincare, not only in the Philippines, but to reach the world, be able to expand Aivee Skin globally. Of course, we also have plans opening other businesses aside from the clinics. We opened luxury pets, and of course, we have plans of expanding that as well as we open more luxury pets in the metropolis. We're opening our first clinic outside Metro Manila, which is in Pampanga, hopefully next year. So actually, I have so many plans of expansion. And the good thing about me and Z is we don't plan too far ahead. We just want to plan and grow organically because we feel we don't want to overplan and overthink. And we feel that we like to grow naturally.
My dad told me once, I still remember, he always said, I will be successful if my kids become more successful than me. And I've always kept that in my head. And the time when I was a bit younger, I couldn't really understand that. But now I think as I grow up, I think there is so much wisdom in that. Because I think I will be successful if my own children become more successful than me. Because that means I have done a good job in training them and equipping them. And I think that for me, the definition of success was very profound and it made a lot of sense.
But more than success, I would like my kids to grow up to be responsible, to be humble, to be compassionate, and to be able to share their blessings to others and not to be selfish, but to be very sensitive to other people. I want them to be well-rounded, and I want them to be successful in whatever field they choose to be. As I said, I'm really very proud of Z because I know that whatever he has right now is really a product of all his hard work, all his sleepless nights, all his bold decisions that he had to make as a partner. I wish for him to even be more successful and to achieve all his heart's desires. And I wish that he continues to be a good leader, a good father, a good husband, and that at the end of the day, what I'm really most proud of him is the fact that he's so grounded and that he really knows what's important in life, which is his family.
I think I would want people to know me as, first and foremost, a good doctor, maybe a successful business person as well, a loving husband, a cool dad, to my kids, and a faithful follower of Christ. I'm proud to be Chinese by blood and Filipino by heart, or Dugong Chino, Pusong Pinoy. Because I feel that having the best of both worlds, as a Singaporean Chinese and the Filipino by heart, gives the best combination. Because like cooking a dish, if you have more spices that is put into a dish, it's more tasty. And I think that the characteristics of a Chinese and the warmth and hospitality of a Filipino, the combination gives that extremely interesting flavor, which I'm proud to have at this moment, because I feel really Philippines is my second home. And Philippines has accepted me and adopted me with open arms, and I feel very much at home here. So sometimes even when I go back to Singapore, I want to come back home here. Both of them are my homes now, and I'm proud of that we are able to merge the two of them.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. Hashtag Dugong Chino, Pusong Pinoy was brought to you by Federation of Filipino Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific. AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc. Jimmy C.,